white shirts, white shorts, evergreen numerals. They'll be attacking left to right on your internet dial here in the first quarter. Everybody forgot the ball, and that allows for a ground ball to be scooped up by Chase Gregory and for Loyola to have possession first.
You know, we've seen progress with Pacheco in that last week he was winning the
opponents the last 2 weeks, a third straight Big Ten opponent after road trips to Maryland and Johns Hopkins. Getting free, shooting high, and an easy save for Stoller. That one was not particularly threatening on the first look for Matt Houston. Quick clear for the Scarlet Knights. Oh, big time hit delivered.
Yeah, offensively for Loyola, for them to see success, Glenn, they cannot be individual dodgers. It has to be a total team effort, meaning pass, pick away, move constantly, as you see an early conversion there by Rutgers.
So Rutgers wasting no time getting on the board. Ross Scott dodges in front.
Yeah, what you see with Scott is it's an individual matchup, but Loyola gets a little bit hung up there on the picks, and there's no slide coming, easy conversion low to low. I'm wondering if the Loyola defender who is...
Scarlet Knights got to go quickly here. Fed back to Coolis, will try to get top side off the pipe.
Yeah, but see another 60 now for Rutgers for a defense that's already tired. It's been playing a lot so far this first quarter.
Too early to think about a timeout, Chris?
Yes, I think it is.
Now flying in off the bench. Greyhounds in a really bad situation. And there to take advantage of a Jack A. with some tic-tac-toe lacrosse. Rutgers makes it 2-0.
Yeah, Loyola got beat on a box substitution. You see Coach Toomey and Coach Dwan talking to each other as if there was some confusion there. Rutgers, though, a nice job, but the point I want to make, Glenn, is they've prepared for that. As you see, it's not just an offensive set that isn't organized. There's a lot of organization that goes into that as you see the shot coming down the alley late.
And spending a year at Northwestern, and very excited for Pat Spencer. And I know everybody in Greyhound Nation is fired up about that. An illegal equipment penalty called on Henry Haberman. So what looked like a smart timeout for Loyola, unfortunately leads to a possession, another extra man opportunity for Rutgers. I did not see the stick check, but Loyola man down once again, Chris. And fed right in front. That is too easy. 3-0 Rutgers.
Well, you're right, Glenn. It looks easy on the surface. It's basic clockwise ball movement by Rutgers. They get a conversion on the inside, which typically means that the interior defensemen get confused, and that may be a result of a lack of communication. As you see, as Bean goes behind, there's nobody trailing on the inside to get that cutter.
Still looking for their first of the day, trailing 3-0. They've been outshot 14-5. Just needing something positive to get a little momentum right now. Seth Higgins gets around the defender, feeds it in front, and that's off the side netting. Golden opportunity for Kamish. He can't make it count. Does it feel a little jittery right now, Chris, from Loyola?
Well,
I say that.
Not anymore. But I think you make a really good point, which is this is a team that's lost 2 games. And they're not accustomed to losing 2 games in a row. And so although Rutgers is not in their conference, there is definitely a sense of urgency here for Loyola today. As you see the ball go from strong side to weak side.
This is outstanding from Evan James. Off balance.
And when you get Evan James with a short stick, Loyola right now in that particular instance opting to play out from those top side wing dodges. No slide comes, but a great trail check there by McGillicuddy.
Possession stays with the Scarlet Knights. Running shot, lot of heat, make it 4-1. Second of the day for Amon.
Yeah, nothing fancy there by Amon as he just dodges hard left-handed from up top. As a short stick D midi, easier said than done. Ideally, you don't want to let them get to the middle of the field. When they get to the middle of the field, things tend to break down. I must think Sally kind of gives him that opportunity to do so, though, and there's no slide that comes, and if it does, it's coming late. Beautiful placement there as he beats Stout low offside.
Second of the day. Sit out. Looks like the next group out there for Rutgers, including Mason Rickens.
You know, this Rutgers offense is versatile from the perspective that it's attacking from all angles of the field. They'll do big littles behind. They'll do sweeps from the side. They'll do dodges from up top. And as you're seeing, Loyola's reeling right now defensively, having a hard time figuring out how do they want to play each one effectively.
It is pouring right now. Scarlet Knights, 5 of the first 6 on the day for Cardilla, his first today.
See, when you don't.
Greyhounds continue the possession. Under a minute and a half to play in this first quarter. Patra trying to make something happen, gets in front but can't put it home.
Well, that was great play both ways. And as you know, that's what Patra likes to do with his Canadian style. He likes to get goal line extended and then get inside. But Stoller, wonderful save there, going low.
Stoller coming off a 10-save effort against Army last week, as you mentioned, coming home, playing back in the Baltimore area with 1 second. Back to the corner. 15 seconds. Scott trying to dump it in front. It's deflected away by Roman. 7 seconds left. And Knobloch can't hold on. Tries to get it back, but that'll be how the quarter comes to a close. An outstanding start to the game for Rutgers.
Negate as much communication that you need to have in order to play it well. You know, you always have an option of, do you go to zone? But I know Coach Toomey doesn't like doing that. It's situational at best.
Cardilla sends it back up top to Knobloch. Mentioned the series history, and it had been dominated by the Greyhounds, so what a find to the doorstep.
See, so there to me, Glenn, like it felt like Chase Gregory was actually still in good shape. Like he had gotten turned, but then McGillicuddy came from the crease hard. That's a long slide, and then when you slide, there's a point counterpoint, right? There's a cause and effect. So when he slides, he needs to communicate, and someone else needs to go, and it feels like they weren't prepared for that, right?
Koulis camped out, goal line extended.
You could see
Scout, they might have to change the thought process, as it's not working right now, going low on Stoller. Loyola not able to convert on the extra man. So they get a face-off win, they get an extra man opportunity, still nothing to show for it, and Rutgers can try to extend the lead.
You know, it's tricky, Glenn, because you'd ask, what do you do differently? Well, you know, one thing that you might want to do is apply more defense to help speed up the team, more pressure defensively to speed up the team. But you could see when you do that, particularly if you get beat on ball like Houlihan just did, then you create offense for the other team. As you see again, like nothing fancy here, just, you know, the approach comes late from Reynolds, so he's out of position. So it's a bad approach that leads to
Rutgers so far. And to your point, on the whole, this is a Rutgers team. You mentioned their success in the transfer portal, just their success overall. Of course, 2 years ago, making that run to the Final Four. Rutgers program that has been on the rise. Brian Brecht now in his 13th season at Rutgers. Bounce shot, much needed. Adam Patra cuts it to 7-2.
And again, Loyola giving Rutgers a dose kind of their own medicine as Sally goes goal line extended for an on-ball pick for Adam Patra. And when you give Patra that much room and time, the Canadian lefty sniper is typically going to finish for you. As you see, Sally sets a pick, goal line extended. Rutgers does not play that well at all. Easy conversion there for Loyola. And shall I say, realized when he looked to his right that he was getting beat to the end line.
Cut off. So possession continues with the reset and a new 60 seconds for the Scarlet Knights. Cardilla, ooh, great move, gets free and stout. If there was a word to describe someone who stands tall in those moments, I just wish I could come up with it.
You know, I think that Rutgers gets away with a penalty there. I think the referee was running with his head towards the other side and didn't see it result in a change of possession, but it can result in a penalty, which it just did.
I mentioned Houston played for Team Australia's Cardilla, shakes the defender, throws it away. It won't matter because it'll be Rutgers' ball with another extra man. Donnie Howard from Rutgers also played for Team Australia during the World Championships last summer in San Diego, the BU transfer. So watch this again.
See, like right there. It's just it's such a low percentage play, but as a result, a referee's going to look for that, right? Like, what was the intent up? Now they shift out of that almost to a 1-4-1.
Amon not forcing anything so far. Lots of time, obviously, with the 60-second penalty.
They do an exchange, and now they get back into that 1-3-2.
Oh, and Knobloch rifles that home.
I just think Stout just didn't see that, Glenn, because that wasn't that confusing of exchange. They went from a 1-4-1 to a 1-3-2. Stout may have been screened as it was stick side low.
Extra man conversion for Shane Knobloch.
Here, like, Loyola's in a good position for this, although, as I say that, Chase Gregory gets beat as he goes for a basic fake throw. It puts him out of position, creates a lane for Knobloch. The wing. Rutgers isn't even really playing the ball on the man who's picking, right? They're just sloughing in. So it hasn't been nearly as effective.
Patra gets a shot off, but
another wonderful save there by Stoller, right?
Stoller going down.
You could argue that, hey, not a full. I think some of it is just about pride in the program, right? Loyola unaccustomed to being 1-2 at the start of the season.
Well, and I think we would add to it part of the reason why they schedule such difficult. Oh, what a move. Unbelievable finish from Ross Scott, but they're going to say crease.
Well, Loyola got fortunate there, and you've seen it over and over today. Loyola confused.
Watch it again. Is there a step back here that...
So the approach is late, and then the reaction from Houlihan is late as well. Always been a step slow today.
So we're seeing what they're seeing. Again, the call on the field was no goal, but I don't see that it's particularly close, is it?
Yeah, I don't either.
I think this one of an at-large bid.
Well, yeah, no doubt. So it certainly helps their strength of schedule. If you can win half of these games that you schedule out of conference against teams like Duke and Rutgers and Hopkins and Maryland, certainly helps your resume as you see Loyola get beat again in a one-on-one matchup with no slide.
Ross Scott says, if you take the last one away from me, I'm not going to let you take this one away. Second of the day, and his 4th point makes it 9-2.
So you see here, Bean looks like he's in good position. I don't know whether he was worried about the pick to his right, and that causes him to kind of lunge.
And obviously, for getting the sport into the Olympics, I think it's a very big thing, as it would have just been impossible to play a full lacrosse 11-on-11 tournament over the course of 2 weeks. Second half underway with the teams switching sides. Greyhounds.
All right, so there's a positive.
Right, prolonged ground ball.
Sessions as much as they would like. You tend to wonder, is it schematics or is it more mental at this point?
They decide to set the clock to 70. As Rutgers with their first possession of the second half. Amon keeps it moving. Rutgers team that has really looked sharp today. Running shot somehow sneaks through for Knobloch.
Well, that's one that you would think Stout would like to have again. I mean, he had no pressure on his hands, but still, that's a 12-yard shot on the run. That Stout would typically eat up, and it's stick side low. It looks like, if anything, maybe he was going with the scout, and he thought.
Knobloch gets it back. Trying to make that move. Didn't like the angle and backs it out.
Nice job there by Reynolds coming from off the crease on the slide.
You mentioned all the things that Knobloch does. Mitchell Pelkey's been up here in the booth with us today hanging out. The former Ohio State standout and popular social media influencer. And he pointed out that when he went up against Knobloch, great movement again and right to the corner for Koulis. When he went up against Knobloch was always getting back defensively on top of everything else that he does. He's so talented and so complete as a player.
Yeah, he's kind of your traditional, as they say, old school two-way player where a coach is comfortable with having him playing defense. As you see again, Loyola sends 2 guys on ball up top, which then really successful offensively so far this year.
And Patra able to get free in the middle. But his shot was impacted, and another on top of everything else that Rutgers is doing. Another great save from Stoller.
Yeah, that's a 12-yard shot, low to low. So that's a low percentage shot.
Possession continues for the Hounds, trying to find something and continuing to shoot low. Another low to low, and another save for Stoller.
Yeah, when you see that consistently, maybe that's the scout that Stoller's weak lower than he is high. But right now, it would seem like it would be to Loyola's.
Cardilla again, working deep into the shot clock, down to 20. Scott, who we saw operating from X in the first half.
Good slide there by Sally.
Amon, another one that you would think Stout would have had.
I think now, and it's a difficult decision, I do wonder if it would make sense to get, and yeah, you see it right now, that Coach Toomey's going to make a change in cage. Stout has he started off well, but particularly here at the start of the second half, you can see he's not.
And I think what you're saying here is you're not really penalizing Luke Stout.
Sometimes it's a change of pace. So sometimes the defense then reacts differently when you put in, the next goalie. And a different level of energy. Sometimes it's a different look for Rutgers, and sometimes you're just trying to. Well, there you go. You're just trying to protect the psyche of Stout.
Joining the hat trick party, Shane Knobloch with his third of the day. 13-2 now, Scarlet Knights.
You see there up top, Houlihan goes for a slap check or a chop check up top, misses it when you lunge.
Saves. On top of everything else, he's been great today.
Yeah, that's a big ask when you have Murphy stuck in on defense and they do a big little behind.
Cardilla loses it.
He's not really accustomed to playing that.
Ground ball's going to stay with the Scarlet Knights. It's Logan Peters now out there.
That's that first time ground ball. Gillicuddy on the sideline wide open.
Benny tries to drop it off the Patra. Passes
See, that's one
low.
where Benny probably is open to shoot, right? But
and there he is.
And he ultimately gets it. But when you're struggling offensively, you tend to overthink it. You don't know what's right anymore. It ends up working out on Benny, who has had a hard time getting separation when dodging from up top. You see Loyola drifts up high. And again, you have a defender that takes a bad angle. It's a big ask for a short stick to come inside out. Benny shows great patience.
Hopkins on the road this Wednesday as they won 17-4 in that one. So 3-0 to start the season. 17-14, I think.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah, it was 17-4. I saw your face, and then I said, that must have been wrong, whatever came out of my mouth right then.
I thought Hopkins had just knocked off someone pretty big, so I was shocked at that.
Still a good win. So
yeah.
Actually start conference play 1 week from today on the road at Colgate. And they'll play one more non-conference marquee game against Duke. That's the doubleheader day I was talking about. Crease call, give it back to Rutgers.
Man, boy, I tell you, it's just not easy. Lindsay finally does a great job getting inside of the defender.
Against another very good opponent. 9.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. What's impressed you most about Rutgers today, Chris?
Their efficiency on offense as I throw the ball away. Like it always happens, Glenn. You always team me up for that. Their efficiencies on offense, their spacing has been excellent, and their shooting, right?
Skips it up top. Not a lot on that shot from Higgins. It's blocked back towards him. He's able to pick up the ground ball, keep possession alive.
Nice job there, moving it quickly to the weak side.
Benny gets free and he buries it.
Nice job there by Benny. So, it's a good lesson when you pick up a ball and unsettled. It's a good practice is to move it from the strong side where the players are then to the weak side because there's usually no slide there. And Benny does a great job getting on the inside and beats Stoller. So nice job there by Higgins and Benny.
13-5, Rutgers still in front. Midway point of the fourth quarter. The Patriot League is on ESPN. Looks like he wants to try to do it himself. Gets around the defender. Very nicely done. Does it count? It does. And I'm gonna guess the flag's gonna come out no matter what here, almost. Like, I'm just gonna guess.
And did you notice referees did it in a synchronized fashion?
That was impressive.
Man. That was
right?
the most impressive thing in the
that.
play right there.
Let's see. Brian Breck didn't immediately throw the flag. They're gonna look at it again.
Yeah, I'd like to see it too.
Maybe I just missed the flag.
Oh,
Rutgers did throw it. Yep. And I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. Just because of the 13-5 game, why wouldn't you go ahead and challenge that?
It looks like it similar play to the play that we saw with Syracuse and Maryland. As a play comes from the side, he ends up in the crease. So is he pushed?
Well, I think the issue here might be, was his foot already in the crease before his dive began?
And I think it was.
I said I was going to stop guessing
I agree with you.
on these, but we'll watch it one more time. It's that right foot. No?
Now I don't. Now
yeah.
I'm going to reverse my decision.
I'm in agreement with you.
I'm going to say it's good.
So you got to watch when the ball comes out of the stick.
You can't tell if it's already out.
Yeah, right? It's really hard to tell.
I'm going to go. I got to make a decision. I'm saying good. And I'm not turning back.
It's an opportunity to... Nope.
Hey, I'm wrong again.
I never joined you, so I get credit for that one.
Smart.
I said no goal to begin with, and I wasn't swayed.
That was smart. It was.
And set up on their ride.
Well, it's certainly hard to keep mentally focused if you're Rutgers offensively with this big a lead. I would say it feels like Loyola has been a little bit. Their spacing has been better. Their communication has been better, at least in this fourth quarter.
Good movement in front. Padra denied by Stoller. Dixon winds up. And that one's also turned aside. Boy, what a day for Stoller.
Boy, he looks fantastic, doesn't he?
And Loyola's going to take a timeout, talk about the circumstances. One of the numbers I did want to point out today, Chris, we mentioned last week the clears were an issue.
Here in him.
He's young. A lot to be excited about for Rutgers fans. Carden Stoller out of the timeout. Loyola with it. Just over 2 minutes to play.
Brady Quinn.
And no relation that we're aware of, by the way.
Out of Florida. Getting some new action.
And boy,
and he did get some action.
Yeah,
there. He got some
work.
Hard check action.
Tommy Mendyke.
But it's a good lesson, right? He doesn't see a lot of time. He's a freshman to realize, like, when you receive possession, you have to move your feet. If you stay stationary, you are in trouble.
And Loyola will fall to 1-3 on a day where the Scarlet Knights dominated from start to finish. They pick up a 13-5 victory over Loyola.
We talked about it early, Glenn. I didn't have a feeling one way or another, like, would Loyola win? But I did think that it would have been a closer game than that turned out to be, particularly after coming off of 2 losses.